Bom, sejam bem-vindos a mais um vídeo. Dessa vez vamos ver aqui esse painel de Sandman com os atores, com o Neil Gaiman e com o diretor do filme. Vamos lá.
Tonight we will achieve what no one has even attempted. We will summon and imprison death.
Em 24 minutos.
What's up, Geeked Week? I am Felicia Day, and I am so excited to be here for this very special Geeked Week panel where we will finally answer the long-awaited question, when is The Sandman coming to Netflix?
Hey. Whoa.
Já foi respondido, vai chegar em agosto.
Death has family, desire, destiny, despair.
We have some awesome surprises in store for you, but first, I couldn't do this panel without the three people I'm about to introduce. Alan Heinberg, showrunner for The Sandman, and the man we have to thank for finally bringing this incredible world to life, Tom Sturridge, who plays the enigmatic Endless Dream, and Neil Gaiman, the brilliant mind behind the comic. Hi, Neil.
Neil Gaiman, velho.
The first issues of Sandman came out
Como não colocar fé no projeto, né? Sendo que o próprio criador tá acompanhando tudo bem de perto.
over 3 decades ago, and they have had such an impact on pop culture. What do you think continues to be so resonant about the story, Neil?
I think the story works because, you know, young Neil Gaiman had some kind of idea of what he was doing and was desperate to tell a story that would
Gaiman parece uma
last.
pessoa, tipo assim, parece uma pessoa muito legal de
Also was
conviver, sabe?
desperate to tell a story that would keep being printed in a comic month to month, because he wanted to do this more than anything in the world. And so it had everything that I loved and cared about, and it was willing not to be the same thing. And I think that weirdness, the fact that Sandman isn't just one thing, but it grows, it changes. If you like one bit of Sandman, you may or may not like the next bit, but
Isso é muito
you'll
legal.
love the bit after that. Actually is responsible for why 3 decades later it still has life. People still care about the story.
Alan, how did you approach adapting this comic to the TV series? Because it's a beast of so many different things.
I approached it primarily as a fan. I fell in love with it when I was in college. I was buying it monthly.
E uma coisa que eu quero que vocês prestem atenção é que, assim, eles têm tudo muito fresco, sabe? E as perguntas saem, assim, muito tranquilamente da boca deles, né? As respostas. Então, dá pra perceber que tá todo mundo bem em sintonia, sabe?
Yeah, primarily as a fan.
Tom, you are incredible too. Hey, what's up?
What's up?
What are the Endless, and how do they fit into the story of The Sandman?
Wow, what are the Endless? The Endless are a mysterious collection of beings, 7 siblings. They're children of the cosmic entities night and time. They're the anthropomorphic embodiment of certain forces, powerful human forces. In order of age, there's destiny, death, dream, destruction,
O cara fala por
desire,
identidade, tá
despair,
ligado?
and
Então,
delirium.
assim, você viu que eles
And what's
estudou
amazing
bastante
about
pra
them,
poder fazer
what
o
I
papel.
love about them, is that despite this kind of extraordinary, fantastical description, they are like a normal family in that they're riddled with dysfunction. And it's that dysfunction which propels our story and our narrative, and that's how they're a part of it.
You know, when I first came to America, people would say to me, you know, we love Sandman, and we love that you've made this dysfunctional family. And I'd never heard the term before. So I was like, what is a dysfunctional family? And they would explain, and eventually I went, oh, that's what in England we call a family.
Você parava pra pensar, não existe família funcional. O que seria uma família funcional, né?
Dream. You're gonna need all the help you can get.
That perfectly sets us up to introduce our next round of guests. Vivienne Achampong, who plays Lucienne the Librarian. Jenna Coleman, who plays demon-hunting Joanna Constantine.
Aí aqui a gente tem a Joanna Constantine. Eu sei que essa personagem existe. nas HQs, mas pelo que eu me lembre, em Prelúdios e Noturnos, que é esse primeiro arco que eles vão adaptar, é o Constantine mesmo, tá? Não é Joanne Constantine. Decidiram fazer essa mudança, e eu, particularmente falando, não ligo muito, não. Se for legal, eu acho que vai, sabe, vai pra frente. Mas, ao mesmo tempo, eu não sei, eu fico meio que receoso deles estarem colocando essa personagem pra fazer um par romântico com ele, sabe? Eu não entendi muito bem a mudança, sabe? Eu não ligo se for bem trabalhado e tal. Mas eu tenho a minha suspeita de que é pra ela ser um tipo de par romântico dele, sabe?
Onesu Samonyai, who plays Rose Walker, and Boyd Holbrook, who plays the Corinthian. Thank you so much for being here, so many of you. Dream goes on a journey through many different stories this season. There is this huge cast, as we can see. Have you all been together like this all at once before?
I don't think
No.
so.
No. We've just met.
That's
This is it. We're
incredible.
witnessing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the story is so varied and it goes so many places with so many actors. It's kind of funny to think you're such important characters and you've never met. That blows my mind. This cast, Alan, is just truly incredible. Can you talk about finding the right performers for these roles?
We had the most extraordinary casting directors, Lucinda Sison and Natasha Vincent, and Melly Nagler at Warner Brothers, who's in charge of casting there. And their tastes and their instincts were incredible, but mostly I think Neil did the work for us. Once word got out that, you know, the Sandman, this Neil Gaiman property that's been out for as long as it has and has as many fans as it has, once word got out, we had people coming to us saying, may I be in the Sandman? A lot of times we would start talking about, you know, who do we see in
Os caras
this role?
chegavam por eles atuarem, velho. Pedindo pra
We got
atuar,
very
isso é muito
lucky
legal.
in that we were talking about Jenna from the very, very beginning, because Neil and I are huge Jenna Coleman fans. And we got very lucky that the pandemic, you know, allowed her the space in her diary to join us. So it happened a lot of different ways, but we got very lucky.
Vivian, Lucian is such a pivotal character for Dream. Can you talk about developing that dynamic with Tom?
When I met Tom, he's so lovely and warm and open. And
Essa personagem também, pelo que eu me lembre, em Prelúdios Noturnos é um homem, tá? Também. Então fizeram essa alteração, que particularmente falando, de novo, gente, eu não acho que isso aqui altere em nada a história ou coisa do tipo assim, tá?
into Morpheus and is incredible,
Gosto dessas
and you
mudanças,
can just
inclusive.
tell that he really knows this character because he has just embodied him so beautifully, and it just made my job as an actor really easy. He's a dream, no pun intended, but literally as an actor, a dream to work with because he just gives you so much. He's so generous. So it was a pretty easy thing for me to do with him.
Boyd, the Corinthian is a fan favorite from the comics. Let's talk about those eyes and how you approach bringing the
Cara, eu tô
Corinthian
muito
to
ansioso
life.
pra ver esse
Who
personagem.
is he and
Ele
what
tá
is
muito
his
legal.
role
A
on the
caracterização
show?
dele tá muito legal. A caracterização deles, no geral, eu gostei. Eu acho que a do Morpheus, ela tá talvez um pouco... Eu não sei, sabe? Ela tá um pouco formal demais, sabe? Eu acho que eles podiam ter deixado ele com umas vestes um pouco mais soltas, sabe? Um pouco mais largadas, assim. O cabelo, eu particularmente falando, não me incomoda, sabe? O cabelo tá do jeito que tá. E eu entendo completamente a mudança dos olhos, porque pra quem não lê os HQs, os olhos dele, né, eles são completamente pretos, com uma pequena bolinha no meio, e eles falam como se fosse uma estrela, né? Se é que não é realmente uma estrela. Mas eu entendo essa mudança, porque afinal de contas, os olhos, eles captam muito a essência de uma identificação. Eles dão muito uma identificação de nós com esses personagens, entendeu? Então, é por isso que é tão importante essas mudanças, essas pequenas mudanças, sabe? Porque talvez a gente não ficaria tão próximo do personagem. Apesar que eu realmente queria ver um sonho bem diferente, sabe? Ele é uma criatura completamente... Ele é mais do que mística, né? Ele é parte da própria existência, né? Na HQ, eles até falam que os próprios deuses veneram esses seres, porque, afinal de contas, por exemplo, sem os sonhos desses deuses não conseguiriam sonhar, né? Mas eu tô gostando, até o momento eu tô gostando. O que mais eu não curti muito foi muito CGI naquela parte do castelo, mas isso daí é uma coisa que dá pra melhorar, acredito, né? Bom, a gente tá a menos, sei lá, 2 meses do lançamento. Vamos ver. Mas se não melhorar nessa primeira também, eu meio que relevo, porque, velho, primeira temporada, né? Os caras, é uma série, os caras eles injetam pouco dinheiro, né? Relativamente, eu não sei quanto que foi gasto aqui no Sandman, mas vamos lá.
Yeah, the Corinthian is basically the metamorphosis or your worst nightmare in the matrix of the dreaming, created by Morpheus. When I first heard about this and talking to my friends about it, they were like, "Oh, you're going to play the Corinthian." And it seemed like a larger than life, really outrageous character. But the more I talked about it with Alan and Neil, it seemed like it was a person that you would welcome into your home. The sort of kindness and the ease that
Isso é muito legal, né? O cara, ele ficava na dúvida, porque a visão de outras pessoas a respeito do Corinthians era que ele era um cara meio doido e tal. E ele chegou pro próprio criador e falou como que esse personagem realmente é, né? Ele conversou com o próprio criador, isso que é muito legal, né? Por isso que é muito legal o Neil Gaiman tá lá também.
It was more Hannibal than like a flamboyant Joker character.
Isso acho que é muito legal. Acho que define bem o personagem.
É
mais um Hannibal do que um Coringa.
Calibrate being, under these glasses.
Olha, vai tá muito foda. Tá muito foda.
A lot of acting is done with your eyes, so that for me was something to adjust to.
Yeah, well, there's a folksy, quiet menace to you that is people are going to be very excited to see.
Take that as a compliment.
It is. I'm from Alabama. I know folksy menace. Jenna, you are no stranger to epic franchises. What appealed to you about the role of Joanna Constantine?
Just from the first reading of the script, it was the character just was so fleshed out, the voice, everything kind of came to me straight away.
A única atriz que eu sinto que não tá muito
idea
assim.
of her being this, this
foi essa, eu não sei
kind of ranger in the world.
Eu acho que talvez, né?
Her cynicism and kind of rhino.
Eu acho que talvez eu estaria na mesma posição que ela, porque afinal de contas, né, fazer essa troca desse personagem que muita gente gosta. Eu não gosto muito do Constantino, eu nunca gostei muito desse personagem, não sei o que as pessoas veem nele de tão legal, assim, não acho ele um personagem tão legal. Então por isso que eu não me importei muito. Mas sabe uma coisa que eu queria muito ver nessa série? Eu queria muito ver o Etrigan. Eu adoro o Etrigan, eu acho ele um personagem muito legal. O Etrigan é um demônio que é preso no corpo de um homem, né? Na Idade Média. E tipo assim, esse cara, e eles falam rimando. É um negócio muito legal, eu gosto muito. E ele aparece no Prelúdios Noturnos, né? Quando o Sandman vai pro inferno pra recuperar o Elmo? Eu não lembro, acho que é o Elmo que ele vai recuperar. Mas enfim, eu acho que ela tá meio assim justamente por conta disso, né? E eu entendo completamente. É bem natural, né?
Yeah, quite a tortured soul, like with a big compassionate heart hidden somewhere underneath.
And an amazing trench coat.
And a great trench coat. That was the main reason, obviously.
That's a good outfit. But I do have a treat for you. In our first exclusive Geek Week reveal, we can share the brand new character posters for Joanna Constantine,
posters, né?
the Corinthian, and some exclusive Sandman posters. Let us take a look.
Hey.
Ooh.
Whoa. Gorgeous.
I love it.
Esse eu achei um dos mais bonitos. E o do Corinthians também. O primeiro eu não gostei tanto. Esse eu achei. Esse eu achei incrível.
God, that looks incredible.
Beautiful.
E esse ficou. Nossa. Ai, eu arrepio, velho. E esse também ficou muito legal.
Yeah, and the trench coat. How is it seeing that? Is that kind of cool to see it in real life?
I'm very happy we've got the crucifix in.
Yeah. Well, you're really rocking the trench coat. There are going to be a lot of cosplay, for sure. For those of you at home who want a closer look, you can check out these posters over on the Sandman Official on Instagram, and of course, at Netflix Geeked. Vanessa, this is your first series role as Rose Walker, and she's such a pivotal character in the Sandman. Can you tease a little bit of your story and what it was like to work with Tom?
So Rose Walker is a regular 21-year-old who has lost her parents, and she's just alone in the world, and she wants to find her brother.
Eu não lembro dessa personagem.
She wants a sense of normalcy back in her life.
Eu acho que mentira, eu acho que eu lembro.
She meets Morpheus.
Eu acho que eu lembro.
They work on, trying to get that going. And Tom is great, really great to work with. And what was really nice was how we played with Morpheus and like the relationship between them, the dynamic, and the change that Dream had over their interaction.
You guys have an incredible effect on each other, and it just blows my mind that this is your first role. It's a big set to step into. How was that for you?
It was great. This is a great, series to have as my first series role. Nerve-wracking in the beginning, and then I eased into it. The script was really, in the beginning, even when I was auditioning, it was something that it made it really easy to play because the script just laid it out so well.
Yeah. Neil, how was it seeing all these actors bring your characters to life?
Wonderful in all sorts of different ways. Sometimes it will be wonderful because it was exactly the thing that I've always had in my head. Tom is Morpheus. Once you see him on the screen, you go, oh yeah, that's the guy in the comics. That's what he apparently sounds like, and that's how he moves, because we haven't really seen him move. Sometimes it's deeper or weirder or just different, but it's always deeper or weirder or different in ways that make it more interesting, not less. Having Viv, taking the character that Joe Orlando had created in the comics a long time ago, and going, is there any reason at all that Lucien can't look like that but have pointy ears? And going, none that we can think of. Great. And it suddenly allows a level of honesty that we didn't have with these characters. Lucien, she can get meaner. Or having Joanna Constantine, watching what Jenna brought, this glorious, heartbroken, wounded, bitter sass to it. It was like, oh, that's exactly what I was trying to get into, into the original comic with John, only it's that, but more so.
Yeah. So we have some fan questions for all of you. Alan, Noxie on Twitter asks, what's it been to bring something that's so beloved onto the screen? And what do you think viewers should expect, new and old fans of the Sandman, from the show?
We wanted to give longtime fans everything that they loved about Sandman, reading Sandman, and then more things that they, stuff that happens off panel in the comic, just a deeper dive into these characters' lives and their feelings and their souls. A lot of our cast were new to the Sandman too, so we couldn't just operate within a fan bubble. We really needed to be able to tell the story for people who've never read Sandman before, and it was a pleasure to introduce people to this world and these characters for the first time. So you really don't need to have ever read the comics, but if you see the series and you enjoy it, we hope you'll run out and start reading, because there's a lot to enjoy.
I read them in college, and I remember having a huge crush on Dream, and then watching the episodes. I forgot most of it, but I'm like, oh yeah, there's going to be a lot of crushes on Dream. Sorry, Tom. Hey, Tom, Mel on Twitter asks, OMG, are we going to see Dream's cool outfits?
Eles abrem pro pessoal fazer perguntas, né?
Question mark.
OMG, are we going to see Dream's cool outfits?
Yeah.
OMG, yeah.
OMG, you'll see him without any outfit.
One of Dream's outfits is what he doesn't wear in episode 1.
Exactly right.
But Sarah Arthur, our costume designer, was extraordinary and
very collaborative. Tom is very involved.
She is. Well, what's exciting about Dream is within our story, he enters so many different worlds, and it was so important to.
Uma coisa que sim, eu acho que eles não vão acabar fazendo é colocando esse personagem, o Sonho, como mais de uma. Isso é uma coisa que eu queria ver, sinceramente falando, não é mais de um ator interpretando aquele personagem. Porque o Sonho, ele é uma entidade, então assim, ele adota essa forma, né? Essa é a forma que ele escolhe adotar, essa forma completamente pálida, com o cabelo, sabe, bem desarrumado. Mas ele é uma entidade, ele pode assumir literalmente a forma do que ele quiser, entendeu? Então, eu gostaria de ver. Eu acho que isso não vai acontecer pra não ter nenhum tipo de confusão, sabe? De ter muita confusão e as pessoas começarem a confundir quem que é aquele personagem. Mas assim, eu acho que daria pra eles fazerem, né? Mas eu entendo porque eles também não colocarem.
For him to carry the authority that he has within these worlds, who is Dream in hell? Like, who is he in contemporary London? Who is he in his own throne room? And it was such a enormous active imagination on her part and on all of our collaborators in trying to answer those questions, which are not questions that you get to do very often in a job like this. Like normally it's like, which are the coolest jeans? And yeah, it was magic. So OMG.
Well, there's going to be a resurgence in crushed velvet outfits, I'll tell you that. It's very cool. Jenna, Juliana, a.k.a. Coleman's Dimple on Instagram asks, what can we expect from this new version of Joanna Constantine?
This new version of Joanna Constantine, I guess, if you would agree, like an upgrade. She's been upgraded in her
clientele, definitely.
Her clientele, yeah.
She's a bit posh.
Yeah.
Yeah. She operates in a world that's sort of at a higher level. I mean, the Queen and the royal family are clients, so you can't really get any.
Legal, isso ficou legal. Isso ficou bem legal.
Spoiler? Sorry?
Or lower.
Oh, yes, exactly. Sorry.
They'll cut that.
Yeah.
Also, did you know that your dimple...
Então, digamos que ela tá mais reconhecida que o Constantine.
No, I did not.
You guys should get together sometime. Swirly on Twitter asked Vivian, what is it like being literally the best character?
Oh, wow.
That's biased.
Yeah. The best? I don't know. Like, you know, I mean, all the characters are the best, really, so they're being very kind. Thank you.
You're a fan favorite. Tom, Cat Lady Bean on Twitter asked,
Cat
is
Lady
Dream's
Bean.
helm an actual prop? And if so, how did you
Pelo
make
amor de
it?
Deus, fala que é.
Well, firstly, I made it. From the bones of a dead god. It is a real prop. And as Neil said, the most important thing, again, it was an act of imagination trying to create it. There are so many different images of it within the kind of the history of the comics. But in Overture, the source of it is revealed, which is a battle that Dream has with a deposed god who has imprisoned him in the dreaming with his love, Alienora, and he constructs a helmet out of the god's skull and spine, so he never forgets the defeat that he had when he was imprisoned. And what's important was that the helm had that organic quality of a skull and a spine, and wasn't this kind of what it can sometimes be perceived as a sort of space helmet.
Well, we can actually inspect
o capacete dele me lembra muito mosquito. Ele me lembra muito mosquito com aqueles olhões e eu não sei se foi proposital, proposital? É proposital, né? Eu não sei se foi quando ele fez. Ele inclusive podia falar alguma coisinha aí, mas me lembra muito um mosquitão.
it looks organic or not, because we have the real helm here. Helm girl, here it is. Wow, thank you.
Oh,
does that look like an organic spine of a dead god?
Yeah, I think it does.
It's very bony.
I'd say 9 out of 10.
Cara, lindo, velho.
Wonderful. It's just going to sit here watching us for the rest of this.
Nossa, é muito lindo.
Boyd, Steven Rosario DZ on Instagram asks, is there a serial killer convention coming soon?
To a town near you.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be a full-on national tour.
Oh, great. That's frightening. Wenesu Caravan City on Twitter asks, what scene was the most difficult?
It was in, I think, episode 8, where I went into Hal's dream and I had to react to what I was seeing on stage because we hadn't put the effects in yet and he hadn't got a mask on yet. It was kind of hard to try and imagine what it looked like and how terrifying it was. So my reaction was a bit smaller than it probably would have if I saw that in real life.
Neil, I am sad __ch on Instagram. Great handle. How did Neil Gaiman manage to make this story so grand and intimate at the same time? Grand and intimate, Neil.
I think it gets to be grand mostly because at the end of the day, it's pages long. So at that length, you've become an epic, whether that was where you started out or not. But also, I think one of the things that I wanted to try and do when I was writing it was to tackle enormous beings, enormous ideas, and enormous time spans. But the only way that you can make anybody care about any of that stuff is by actually looking at human beings and what happens to them. And
eu não acho que Sandman vai ter nada que chegue à altura dele, tá? Isso é, assim, eu acho que foi o ápice do que uma pessoa consegue construir com relação à história. E eu acho que o game acabou sendo influenciado muito pelo Lovecraft, né? Lovecraft também fez isso. de uma forma muito única, inclusive. Pode ser que alguma outra pessoa acabe fazendo também, né? Eu nunca digo nunca. Mas eu acho que a gente não vai ver isso por um tempo bom, sabe? Ou eu posso estar completamente errado, porque afinal de contas o New Gamer criou isso aqui, né? E enfim, relativamente um tempo curto, né? Entre as histórias do Lovecraft e ele. Então, assim, nunca diga nunca.
People's hearts and people's minds and what happens to those. You know, Tom's huge story as Morpheus would be so much less interesting without a Rose Walker, without a Joanna Constantine. You need what happens to them. And their influence on him is actually what drives season 1. It's all about change, and it's all about beings who are bigger and greater than gods and what they're going to become.
This is a big reveal. Alan, Amanda Pike on Twitter asks, who is voicing Merv?
That is a big reveal. And I'm going to tell you, we were thrilled to be able to ask and get Mark Hamill to be the voice of Merv Pumpkinhead. And he's fantastic in it.
Mark Hamill tá
and
no
he
elenco
was such
também.
a pleasure to work with. Neil and I had a day with him on Zoom, and he could not have been sweeter. Can I try this? Can I try that? What do you need? Let me do it again. I didn't like that one. It just made me a new kind of fan of his. I loved him.
And his Merv is hilarious. That's the other thing I think that needs saying. Merv was always, in the comics, on the one hand, a kind of comic relief, but on the other hand, also the voice of sanity. The voice of just going, this is actually kind of nuts. He gets to be that person, especially when arguing with Patton Oswalt's Matthew. So much fun.
Fans are going to go crazy. Now it's time to answer the fan question we've gotten more than any other. When are we finally going to see the Sandman debut on Netflix? Alan, I'm going to ask you to do the honors as well.
All right. I have brought something special that I think can show it, if you don't mind. If we can just
take over the stage.
All right. Let's
roll
the
ninguém.
tape, as they say.
Aí mostraram o trailer, né?
I am the king of dreams.
Vou deixar passar, mas eu já vi esse trailer ontem, mas vou deixar passar.
Ruler of the nightmare realm.
What are you doing here, Etty?
He's coming, isn't he? You. Morpheus. The Aneromancer. You know the Sandman.
He's a fairy story, Etty.
He's no fairy story. He's back.
Good to know.
What's he got in his hands? Open your hands, now!
Forgive me, sire, the palace, the realm. They are not as you left them. With you gone, the realm began to decay and crumble.
The dreams and nightmares no longer seem to recognize their monster. You will remind them. He's free. He's out of his cage.
Wow.
That looks so good. Did you have any reactions? That was amazing, right?
It seems so cliche, but epic.
Yeah.
Really epic.
The dreaming looks amazing.
Alan, it must be so long coming to this point. How do you feel?
I cannot wait for fans and for new fans, people who've never heard of Sandman before, to watch these incredible actors tell this man's incredible story. I could not be more excited to share it with everybody and have everybody finally see it and fall in love the way I've fallen in love. So,
yeah. Neil, what do you think fans are going to think?
I think fans are going to be incredibly excited because this is Sandman. It's taken us 34 years to get Sandman on screen. I have killed off so many bad Sandmans on the way. the bodies of so many dead Sandman movies have been buried, to do it right and to get to the point where now Netflix would have the confidence in us.
Isso é uma coisa muito legal, gente, porque assim, é uma coisa muito diferente, é uma história muito diferente, né, Sandman. O Morpheus, ele não dá nenhum tipo de soco, não existe um conflito direto nas histórias. É tudo muito filosófico, sabe? E quando existe um conflito, o cara não tem que sair na porrada, porque ele é literalmente um perpétuo, entendeu? Ele é parte da existência, então ele consegue como é que fala? Ele consegue superar os inimigos dele de uma forma muito, muito fácil, muito simples, porque ele é um ser quase que infinito, né? Em poder, e isso é muito legal. Ele realmente usa isso de uma forma lógica, né? Afinal de contas, ele não precisa partir pra porrada com ninguém.
Assemble amazing actors, amazing people to do it, and it's Sandman, and that's what I think people are going to be responding to. The thing they love, it's on the screen.
Yeah. Well, as a fan, you definitely did it right. I could keep talking to all of you all day, but unfortunately that is all the time we have for today's special Geeked Week panel for The Sandman. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us.
Então é isso, galera. Esse foi o bate-papo com o pessoal do Sandman. Eu tô bem esperançoso, igual eu falei, justamente por causa desse bate-papo aqui. Eles apresentaram algumas coisas, falaram de algumas coisas que, na minha opinião, foi bem interessante. Eu não trouxe o do Umbrella Academy, porque eu não achei tão legal, eu não achei que eles revelavam tanto. Era só eles falando um pouco da terceira temporada, afinal de contas a gente já sabe mais ou menos o que a gente vai esperar. Não atiça tanta curiosidade, né? Eles falaram pouquíssimas coisas, mas eu achei que o do Sandman valeu a pena trazer, porque afinal de contas é uma HQ, uma das coisas mais importantes, né, já produzidas, né, da literatura, e tá vindo agora nas mãos da Netflix com supervisão do próprio autor. Então, assim, achei a conversa super legal, achei os atores super legais, as escalações, cara, eu tô animado, tô realmente animado. Então, é isso, se você gostou, curte, comenta, adiciona os favoritos e a gente se vê no próximo vídeo. Beijo e até mais.